Hey there, in this video, I want to run through my 5 top learning lessons going from 0 to 100K a month in our coaching consulting service business. My name is Tom Worth. We run a coaching consulting service business that does about $100,000 to $200,000 per month. And I wanted to start making these videos because I want to start sharing the learning lessons that I've gone along the way. You know, like at 100K a month, you're a very small fish in a very big pond, but there's also a lot of people out there that are still looking to make that first step to $1 million and beyond. And I figured that this was a good time for me to start sharing some of those lessons because over the last 3 years, I have accumulated some lessons that I believe are worth sharing. So in this video, we're going to be covering the top 5 lessons from 0 to 100K a month, and like how, you know, it's kind of like the lessons around what the steps are, what the stages are to actually get there. So the first lesson I've learned is that it's fucking hard, right? It is hard to grow a big business, right? It is hard to grow a big coaching consulting business. To get to 100K a month is not an easy thing to do, especially if you're starting out at 0. Now, some people transition into running a coaching consulting business from a successful agency or a successful life as a speaker where they're already running their own company and they're already making lots of money. Now, if you're already running a company that's making lots of money, well, transitioning to a new vehicle and also making lots of money is not that hard. But what is hard is if you've never driven a fucking car before and you get in that car, now all of a sudden it's very challenging because you don't know where all the right levers are, you don't know where the accelerator pedal is versus the gear stick, and you get kind of stuck. So it's hard, right? It's taken us, our growth has been kind of like a little bit like a roller coaster. And I think that's kind of the same as everyone else that ever starts a business, right? It's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and you're going to learn these kinds of lessons along the way of like, when we went up, why did we go up? When we went down, why did we go down? And really this lesson is more for the fact that everyone on the internet wants to make it seem really easy to start and grow a huge business, like 7 figures in 30 days, all of that jazz. I'm sure you're familiar with it. But the reality is that there's no quick fix. There's no magic pill. There's no silver bullet that is going to guarantee your business is going to grow 7, 8 figures and beyond. It just isn't there. It's lots of hard fucking work. It's lots of, you don't necessarily have to do late nights. Like, honestly, I have pretty set working hours, but it's inside of those hours. And I guess the hardest part is like outside of those hours, what are you thinking about? Like, you're sitting in the shower, you're not relaxing. Like, if you're an employee, you're just chilling out. You're thinking about what you're going to watch on Netflix, what you're going to get for dinner. Business is 24/7. It does not stop. And that is the hard part, that you are ultimately responsible for everything. If your income goes to 0, that's 100% on you. That's very empowering, but it also is a lot of weight on your shoulders. If you're carrying around the responsibility of your family and you know that it's on you, well, that is going to be hard. But I just want to preface this by I don't think everyone is necessarily cut out to do it. I think that it is a very challenging thing to do. And, 3 years ago, I would have said to anyone, start your own business. But at the same time, I wouldn't give that advice these days. I'd be like, well, maybe you can get a different job to pay you more money. Maybe you can get like a raise. Maybe you can change positions. Like, do you have to start your own business? And it's only the hungriest that will survive. Like on my desktop background right now, there's the word relentless and then like 100 synonyms for relentless underneath it. Why is that my desktop background? Because I believe that is what you have to have. That is the character trait that you must embody probably most if you want to become a successful entrepreneur. So I think that's enough on point number 1. Number 2 is that it comes in stages. So there's 0 to 10K a month, 10K to 30K a month, 30K a month to 100K a month, right? From 0 to 10K a month, I think there's another point on this, but like a lot of it is belief, right? It's like belief that you can provide value to another person. For example, if you're jumping on a sales call with someone, the person with the most certainty makes the sale. So if you're kind of certain that you can help and they're kind of skeptical and they're like kind of certain that you can't, you won't make the sale. However, if you're 100% rock solid confident that you can help that person and you have a great sales process as well, then that person is going to kind of submit to your certainty. They're going to be like, well, okay, this person is very confident that I can help, that they can help me. Camera bugging out. So, okay, let's do it. Right? So it's the most certain person that makes the sale. And to get to 10K a month, you really just have to have grit and determination. Even with a bad product, bad marketing, bad sales, bad everything, you can get to 10K a month, right? What makes getting to 10K a month a lot easier and a lot faster is if you spend a lot of time in the beginning figuring out exactly what your offer should be, what you can give to people to help people, like what you can package up, and it should be a no-brainer. It should be something that's like when you talk to someone about it, they're like, how can I give you money? That is how to make it easy to get to 10K a month. And you can just push to get to 10K a month with a terrible product, terrible offer. I've done that in different businesses in the past where, I just sold my skills. No one really wanted it, but you can still grow to 10K a month doing that. So that's 0 to 10K a month. 10K a month to 30K a month is where you probably won't get to 30K a month, or like 30K would be the highest you ever get if you have a really crappy offer, basically. If no one really wants it, you might still be able to get to 30K a month, but you're not going to get any further than that. So to get to 30K a month, you really do need to start having an offer that's dialed in. What I've found is there's a pipeline in business. It might be like your offer, conveyor belt. Think of that. Your offer, marketing, sales, fulfillment, something like that. So to get to 30K a month, you really just need like one of those things that's pretty good, and the others are probably pretty meh. So you might have really pretty good marketing, your sales sucks, your offer's not that good, but you can get to 30K a month. You might be amazing at sales, your offer's okay, your marketing's pretty crappy, you can still get to 30K a month. 30K a month, you can also do like by yourself without working that much time. Now, I know a lot of people that are under 30K a month working 12, 16 hours a day. When I was at 30K a month, I was traveling around Australia in a bus working like 3 to 4 hours a day, and some days I didn't work at all, right? So it's a lot to do with how much production you can create. How many units of produce can you produce in a given unit of time, right? So the more you can produce, the easier it is, and there's no reason at all that anyone can't get to 30K a month working 4 or 5 hours a day. Totally doable. It's just that not many people do it or can do it. Now, 30K to 100K a month. That's where I've really noticed you actually need a good offer at this point. You might get to like with an okay offer, you might get to 30, 40, 50, 60, but it's going to start feeling like a real grind. Like even if your marketing is really good and your sales is pretty solid, if your offer's not really good at that point, it's going to feel like pushing a boulder up a hill. Now, on the contrary, if you have a great offer and you've got okay marketing and okay sales, you'll run off to 100K a month, no worries at all. But a lot of it is now about 30K to 100K a month is a lot about sales. You have to be pretty good at sales. You're not going to get beyond 30K a month if you really suck at sales. The good thing about that is sales practice is just practice. So like do more reps, take more calls, make more deals, lose more deals, and you will get better. Yes, it's good to have a framework to start with, but the more you do, the better you will get. So sales needs to be okay. Marketing also needs to be quite dialed in to get to 100K a month, because you need a consistent flow of people that you can sell your coaching to, right? So you probably need to be spending money on ads, or you have to be extremely good, extremely consistent on your organic. We've found that to get from 50K a month to 100K a month, it's easy just to run ads, but that's just kind of what we do to take care of the lead problem, because you need a lot of leads to get to 100K a month. Like at a 3K price point, you're looking at 30 sales a month, right? So that's one a day. Now, if you take 3 calls a day, well, that's 21 calls a week. How are you going to book 21 calls a week, right? Well, ads is probably a good place to start, but you could get 21 calls a week organically, but you won't get much more than that. In our experience, ads really help. Now, we might have done 100K, nearly 100K from organic Facebook groups and stuff like that in the past. But again, it's not going to be super consistent. You might hit 100K on a launch or something like that, but it's not going to be like 100, 100, 100, 100, or like better 100, 125, 150, 200, right? Like it's not going to be that consistent. So from 30 to 100K a month is about leads, really. It's not quite about vision yet. You might have one employee that's pretty key. You might have a couple of assistants, but it's not really about casting a vision. That's what I would say is from like 100K, or even at 200, 300 to 300K. I don't know if vision is that important. To get from about 1 to 2 million a year to 10 million, vision's really important because you're going to need a team to get to those higher multiples. But in the beginning at 100K a month, I don't believe casting a great vision is the most important thing. I think you need to be good at sales, you need to have leads coming in, and you need to have a great offer. That's it. You get to 100K a month. You actually will. Like you will 100% get to 100K a month if you have all of those things. Now, belief is where it all begins. I kind of did touch on this, but it really is true. And it evolves over time, but if you do not believe in yourself, your offer, your products, your services, what you can do to help people, you're going to stay stuck at 0. So how can you increase your belief? Well, you can, belief is really just our impression and our interpretations of the actions that we've already taken in the past, right? So if you don't believe in yourself, you've probably got no proof that you can do it, right? Like I don't believe that I can run 100 meters in 2 seconds. Why? Because every time I've run 100 meters, it's taken me longer than 2 seconds, right? So therefore my belief that I could do that outcome is really low. So you can change it. start taking the actions to give yourself the proof that you would believe. So if you are a transformational coach, and you don't believe you can help people transform their lives, well, you're going to need to take actions, take on people, help people to transform their lives so that you can have that level of belief. Now, we don't recommend you take on clients for free ever, but if you've never done it before and you have literally no idea if you can do it, you probably should stack those like belief rocks, because otherwise you're going to have a real hard problem making sales, because they'll be like, can you help? And you'll be like, yeah, probably. Right? You need to know, and that's where belief comes from, is like past results, past proof, past evidence. You can kind of create it, but it's always like a false sense of belief. Real true belief comes from seeing there, doing it, and knowing it for sure, and believing, right? Cool. To sustain 100K a month, it just can't be you anymore. That's a really great point. So when we first did 100K a month, it was really just me. And now I was telling you I was working about 4 hours a day in the bus. At 30K a month, I was working 3 lots of 4 hours a day to get to 100K a month, because I'd really just like used more time. I put more time in, got more, results on the other side. But that's not really sustainable, right? Like you can't do everything in your business forever, or you're going to eventually die or hate it or quit or whatever, right? So it can't just be you anymore. Now, to sustain 100K a month, you don't need a lot of people. You don't need a big team. You might need one person. It depends on your business model and how you get leads and how you close deals. But for example, you might have one person that's doing all your sales calls, or you might have one person that's doing all of your client fulfillment and you're doing the sales calls. So like you might be doing a lot of fulfillment and someone else is kind of doing the sales, or you might be doing the sales and someone else is kind of doing the fulfillment. But you need to be probably out of one of those roles, doing them both. You probably won't have enough time, especially if you're coaching kind of hands-on. You just won't have enough hours in the day. You also need a system, obviously, but for ads and bringing in leads, but that's not what we're talking about here. And then at 100K a month, you can probably get to 150, 200K a month with that same core team, an assistant, 2 assistants maybe, one person doing sales or one person doing like fulfillment, and then probably like one person, depending on, again, how your ads are running. You might not need another person, or you might need like an appointment setter. We have an appointment setter, something like that. So that would get to 100K a month, and then you'd be able to maintain it with just like 2-3 other people. But it can't just be you anymore, right? You need good people, and they need to be 1 or 2 other people that are fucking superstars. Now, know what you're sacrificing. I think this is an awesome point at all levels in business. Even to go from 0 to 10K a month, and to go from 100K a month to $1 million a month, you need to know what you're going to give up. You need to know what you're sacrificing, right? Like for me, the things I take away is like a lot of enjoyment, like just doing things for no real reason. Like everything I do has a reason behind it, right? Like, yeah, I might watch 1 episode of TV with dinner with my wife a night, but outside of that, everything else is really, for a reason. And I've kind of cut away everything else, not just the business. Like it's not just the business. I also have, I've got a daughter, Mila. I spend a lot of time with her, and my wife as well. And those are things that I'm not sacrificing, right? But if you don't make a conscious decision of what you're going to sacrifice, so drinking, right? Like that's something I don't do. I don't go out on the weekends with friends. I don't do any of that. So that's something I'm willing to sacrifice. Now, if you don't make that conscious choice, like this is what I'm going to sacrifice, this is what I'm not going to sacrifice, you'll probably end up sacrificing everything, and you're going to sacrifice something that you didn't mean to sacrifice. For example, if I just was all in on my business and I didn't kind of make a conscious decision of like where I draw the line, I'd sacrifice my family, Mila, my relationship with my wife, because I'd be focused on the business and I wouldn't have thought consciously about this. So you need to write down a list of like what you're not willing to sacrifice, and then write down a list of what you are willing to sacrifice. Because to grow, you're going to have to add more things to that sacrifices column, so that you can have the space to put in activities that move the needle forward. That's kind of how growth works. Anyway, that is my 5 lessons from 0 to 100K a month. I'm Tom Worth, founder of Instant Clients, and we do about 100, 200K a month in revenue per month. And I was hesitant to start this channel and start making videos because I know that I'm a very small fish in a very big pond of very successful and very amazing entrepreneurs that are out there. But I did figure a lot of people want to be at 7 figures. I'm kind of there. We've been there for a while. We kind of know how it all works. So I thought maybe I could just start sharing some of the lessons, if not for you guys, just for me, so that I could record my journey, where I'm at, what I'm thinking at the time, and look back to these videos in the future. That's all for now. See you in the next video.